Tonight, we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence. The key word is artificial intelligence. So, what is something that's artificial? But it's not the real McCoy.
Well, it seems like they're being fake.
It's artificial.
Whoa. You can swim in an artificial lake and still get wet, okay?
And I'm not really certain why I wanted to do this, but I saw a couple of things within the last month or so that really alarmed me about AI. I thought AI was very good. I saw things and I heard things, and it was like, Or will it enslave us? I don't know. Because there are some very good aspects, but then there are some bad ones, and then there are some very ugly ones. And like I said, I'm not a computer scientist person at all. Not at all.
You got a computer there.
I'm not. I didn't even know what computer scientists did.
All right, let us see here. Keystrokes, escape key, both colon and semicolon, backslash, ampersand.
But now I understand. And I mean, we have RoboCop, the movie. I mean,
but things went bad in that movie, though.
I know, but hey.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
That robot served our food, had the condiments, the drinks, and all our food, brought it to the table, and had the cutlery and everything. We just picked it up and put it there. So, that robot needs to be reprogrammed.
Right.
Alexa is artificial intelligence, and she's helped people, but Black women have helped more people.
Oh my gosh, you have entered into the Urban Suite with me, Dr. Lisa Lacan. Welcome. Tonight we have a huge show. So we will be right back after these messages. Stick with us.
Peace, family. I said this was the year of AI, and I meant it.
The biggest threat to humanity right now
is just AI.
Meaning that the general public can get access to it because the possibility of people using it, right, for various different reasons that are nefarious, such as using other people's voices and saying whatever they want.
AI will only be a threat to humanity if it doesn't want humanity to be here, right? Like that's where it's a threat. Otherwise, I think there's like the micro or much more soon threat of what are people going to do?
Hey, it's Jonathan. I wanted to see how close I could get to cloning a voice using less than 30 seconds of audio.
The biggest threat to humanity right now is just AI.
This is insane technology, and I'm really scared right now.
The world will be displaced by technology. What does that do to the fabric of society?
You are entering the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa Lacan. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about sex. Ooh, all right, so we are back in the Urban Suite, and we are on part 2, AI in the Black community. And let me tell you, the things that I have been researching is blowing my mind. If I had more hair, I would pull it, but I don't have that much hair to pull. But it is so interesting, the things that I am uncovering as a result of this AI and how it can potentially affect the Black community. Last week in part 1, I talked about AI in the Black community the good, the bad. And now today I'm going to touch a little bit about the bad as well as the ugly. But this bad and ugly, oh my goodness. I don't know, you guys. My Urbanites, hold tight. So we're going to come back talking about the bad and the ugly of AI in the Black community. Stay with us.
But the biggest thing is always keep doing your homework. Don't get comfortable, because there's always new ways to do something. And that's the best way to learn, is to keep, informing and teaching yourself and be professional at all times. And just, don't give up.
Don't give up. That's just like that clip at the beginning. Don't give up. That is key. Don't give up.
Do not give up.
Don't give up. If you know your purpose in life,
You should never give up.
you keep pushing that plow. Keep putting your hand and pushing that plow.
We're not going to give up.
It's not going to come just by osmosis, in a sense,
We must not give up.
or just by you saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Never give up.
Ніколи не здавайся. Ніколи не здавайся.
You have to work hard at it. And you can do it.
I won't give up. I know we can do this together.
All right, we are back with our missing person segment. So every time I go live, I do a missing person segment, and tonight is no exception. Now, tonight is a personal one. Now, I don't know them, but listen to this. All right, so these two young ladies, Destiny Owens and Imani Glover, have been missing since December the 31st, 2022 from Newark, Penn Station. They have been missing from Newark, Penn Station since December the 31st, 2022. Okay, so this is Destiny Owens, her description. She is 29 years old, missing from Newark, female, Black, complexion is medium. She's 5'6", 130 pounds. She has brown hair. Her hair is long and her eye color is brown. That's Destiny Owens. And then the second lady, I believe they were together in Penn Station, is Imani Glover. Now, Imani Glover has been missing since 12/31, also 2022. Here they have the wrong dates. They have 12/13. She's 25 years old, missing from the Brick City in Newark, New Jersey. Listen, my Newarkers, I need you all to look at these pictures. I'm going to share this with my Newark community tonight. Ooh, and as I was walking home from work, I actually saw this on the store next to us. So, okay, let me finish. She's female. Her race is Black. Her complexion is light. She's 5'4". She's 135 pounds. She has Black hair. The hair length is long and her eye color is Black. Now, anyone with information, please contact the Newark Police Department at area code 973-733-6000. Again, that's area code 973-733-6000, or you can contact BAMFI, that is Black and Missing Foundation, Inc., at BAMFI at 877-97-BAMFI. Listen, let's bring Miss Destiny Owens home and Imani Glover. And it's at this point, my Urbanites, I need you to share this information. I need you to subscribe to my YouTube, and I need you all to like on Facebook and follow and just spread the word about Urban Twos for Change. All right, so we have a found safe. I highlighted him last week. He has been found safe. Eric Lee Ford. Yay! All right, so we have the found safe. Thank God. Hopefully we'll have a find safe with the two young ladies that were just presented. All right, so let's dig into this AI in the Black community. So last week I talked about the good aspects of AI technology. Now, the one thing about AI, it is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it's only going to advance and get better in a sense and stronger. It may get meaner too. Anyway, so I talked about the good. Now, the good thing about AI coming from, say, for instance, an employer's perspective, work productivity, much better, much faster. Like you can write a blog within maybe 10, 15 minutes just by giving keywords and keywords in something, and then everything is written. Do you know how much time you can spend doing that 10 minutes versus 30 minutes, and then you can go on to the next project? That's a good thing. I love that. It can think of words that you may be struggling for as a writer. So sometimes you may get writer's block. Well, AI, there's no writer's block. And then secondly, from an employer perspective, guess what? You don't have to deal with as many HR issues, such as maternity leave, Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA. You don't have to deal with those things. You don't have to deal with slip and falls. You don't have to deal with payroll taxes. So I said something last week that a lot of companies may be, what is the purpose of them having so many people in HR? Because as you reduce your workforce, you're going to have to reduce HR. Case in point. So what if you have a large organization and for every 20 people, you have about 5 HR people? I'm just using this as an example. So if you get rid of 15 people, you only have 5 people left. So you no longer need those other 4 HR people. You're only going to use 1. And those 15 people were replaced by AI technology. And guess what that does as an employer? It reduces the payroll taxes. It reduces time spent on writing, to the unemployment office. It reduces time on paperwork. It reduces time having to resolve disputes. It reduces time when trying to find a person to fill in for someone else when the person goes on vacation. That's the beauty of AI. The beauty of AI is your work can be so proficient and you can look so intelligent, but at the end of the day, it is artificial. And we talked about that, what artificial is. It's just fake because it mimics the human brain. I don't know if it can mimic the human emotion. I don't know if it can mimic the human soul, but it definitely mimics the human brain. And as I said last week, I think we're on like maybe the 8-track CD model. I don't know, but this is very interesting, talking about the workforce, because right now within the tech world, they have laid off approximately 70,000 people. 70,000 people from different tech places. Let me get this article. I'll read this article for you. Hold on for a second.
And I also have the laid off video for you also, that of the woman talking about the Google.
Oh yes. So let me pull up this article. Hold on for a second. And then we'll show you how Google told their employees. It's crazy. All right, so Google, owned by parent company Alphabet, said Friday it will lay off 12,000, and this was like last week, 12,000 people from its workforce. So Google's laying off people from its workforce. Amazon 18,000 jobs cut from Amazon. Crypto.com, 500 jobs cut. Coinbase, 2,000 jobs cut. Salesforce, 7,000 jobs cut. Let's see, what else? Twitter, we have 3,700 jobs cut. Meta is 11,000 jobs cut. Lyft, they cut 700 jobs. Let's see, who else? Stripe, 1,100 jobs. Shopify, 1,000 jobs. Netflix, 450 jobs. Snap, 1,000 jobs. Let's see, what else? Robinhood, 1,100 jobs, and Tesla, 6,000 jobs. A combined almost 70,000 jobs in the tech sector gone, and I guarantee it, they will never come back. And what they're saying about these layoffs is basically these layoffs are a result of inflation, result of recession, and I believe it's one of these companies, most of the cuts hit human resources. They're not saying what I believe is another reason why all these jobs are disappearing. Because of AI technology. Right now, I believe, number one, that the layoffs, these jobs are not coming back. Number two, I believe these jobs will, in a sense, people will be replaced by the AI technology. And as a result of this, I believe we're going to see a lot of mental illness. Not mental health conditions, but mental illness. Mental health means it's stabilized, your mental health is doing well, but all of these jobs, I believe that a lot of people will experience high anxiety, suicidal ideations. And this is when we're going into the ugly, because those jobs are not coming back. And I don't know what skill set those people have to find another job making the same pay. But let me tell you, I have coined it workforce evaporation. I believe that this is called workforce evaporation. And it's basically the erosion of the workforce over time as a result of an external entity. What is that external entity? That external entity is AI. Let's show the video of the former Google employee.
A day in my life getting laid off at Google. So I woke up to this really ominous text from my boss, and I honestly had no idea what it was going to be about. So I called her the minute I woke up and saw this, and she told me to check the news and my email. So I rushed downstairs to find out that I had lost access to basically everything. I couldn't log into my email or even check my calendar. I called my boss back, and we just sobbed over the phone because she was also finding out about my layoff for the first time today too. I started getting calls from a bunch of my coworkers and started finding out who else was let go on my team and some neighboring teams as well. But I think the worst part is that it seems like no one was consulted on this decision and everyone was just finding out about the layoffs at the same time. It just felt like a really bad game of Russian roulette, and there was no consistency around who was let go. It was also not performance-based, so it just felt really random. I opened up LinkedIn, which honestly was not great for my mental health. There were so many people who were in the same boat that were both equally as shocked and blindsided, but it did help me feel a little less alone, honestly.
And each of these employers are saying I'm putting my restructuring. They're restructuring, all right. They're getting humans out and AI technology in. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is scary in a sense.
Yeah, and also it goes back to one of the first things you were saying is it's about it's a restructuring of to deal with sort of inflation, but it's because of those tech jobs. Because of the skill set and everything and the demand for them, the salary went up astronomically. So this is a way to kind of bring those salaries back down because like those cuts, like the girl said, they were random cuts. They weren't based on performance. They weren't based on kind of like anything. They were just they're trying to weed down the tech sector a little bit. And like you said, they're trying to replace a lot of people with programs. Like to do coding and stuff like that.
It's what they call trimming the fat.
Yeah.
They're trimming the fat and replacing the fat with robotics that are much cheaper.
Yeah.
Because you figure their payroll taxes had to be so high.
Yeah.
Like our payroll taxes with the staff that we have is very high. And we have no more than 15 staff. Can you imagine all of that overhead?
Yeah. And see, the other thing is, like you're saying though, as well, they're making room for a new technology that maybe they have better access to than the regular public. Like we see just like the ChatGPT and whatever they let us see, but maybe Google and those companies have way better technology and they're already implementing some of those systems.
I believe that. And I believe that's what they're doing. They're making way by reducing their workforce for that new system to come into play. Oh, I forgot. Microsoft is 10,000 jobs cut at Microsoft. I mean, this is, it's scary.
In regards to mental health and how did you rephrase it? Like
mental illness.
Mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people that are in those sectors of jobs are very finely tuned to just that particular sector.
Absolutely.
And the way that they develop the corporate culture in those sectors is they say, come with us, it's a family, and stuff like that. And they those people live at their jobs basically. You know what I mean? Like their whole life
because
is
they're
based
more
around that job.
Right. They're more comfortable with things.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in like that whole computer world, computer scientists, I mean, it's very rare that you find someone that's very comfortable, outgoing, likes to be an extrovert that's in that field. But most people that I have dealt with that have a IT background or they're computer scientists are very quiet. They rather be with a thing rather than socialize with people. And pretty much that's all they know in a sense. That's their skill set. Their skill set is programming, coding. Like they would not make a good counselor. Like they just wouldn't because it's like,
but also too, like they're only kind of built for that particular industry.
Right. Exactly.
But the
so
thing they have
what
to do
are
is
they going to do?
they have to lower their expectations, number one. Stop thinking that they're going to be getting 6 figures for doing whatever they're doing when AI could do it just as well as them for a lot less money. They're going to have to bring their salaries down.
I don't think that they thought that the child that they created would later stab them in the back.
Because they helped create it. They helped
create.
Yeah, well, blame themselves then. Blame the person in the mirror.
Yeah, it's crazy. And one company, most of the cuts, like I said, was from the HR department. Because think about it. I mean, in HR, you're dealing with, first of all, HR is there to protect the company, not necessarily the employee. Their job in HR is to ensure that the employee is not a liability for the company. So if you can get rid of that element in your workplace while reducing, your payroll taxes, while reducing the output of money for these positions by bringing in, AI technology, it's a win-win situation for the employer. And it was something that my husband said, which was interesting, because the government is not going to feel so comfortable with all of that payroll tax being reduced. So he was like, well, they'll probably have some type of AI tax. I can see it. I can see them creating the government AI tax because payroll tax it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, but that's what makes the world go around. People working and all that type of stuff.
Absolutely. And then this is when it becomes ugly. Now, with regard to the Black community, bring up, oh my good, Dr. Timnit's picture. Brilliant engineer who was employed with Google.
Was employed.
Yeah, she was employed with Google. So basically, she was in charge of researching the ethnicity department of AI technology. They have what they call a diversity, equitable, and inclusion, the DEI. Most companies have this DEI, which I think some of these companies is, in my opinion, the DEI is full of, it's crap to me. Because when you start to uncover things, when it talks about Black people, the brakes, let's put the brakes on it. So she was in charge, or in a sense of leading a research team on this new technology. So this is an article from Wired magazine. If you're not familiar with Wired magazine, it's an awesome magazine. And it talks about who she is. So this is the front cover of Wired. This is, I have it right here.
It's a tech magazine.
It's a tech magazine. All right. So this is what the cover says. Timnit Gebru warned that big, messy AI systems would generate racist, unfair results. And then listen to this. Google brought her in to prevent that fate. Then it forced her out. Can big tech handle criticism from within? No, especially when it comes to Black people. It can't. I'm sorry. And it showed that it did not. So basically, she's a researcher at Google, and she found this research and whatever. So her supervisor, immediate supervisor, said good, it's good to go. They sent it to the review board, and basically, you have the picture of Megan Cacholia. Look at Miss Megan. Was that
her supervisor or somebody else?
That's her supervisor.
All right, that's her boss's supervisor. Okay.
Right. So her Dr. Timnit's immediate supervisor was gung-ho. She got the boot too, because she did not want to compromise. And she's a party goer as well. She got the boot too. She said, oh no. So basically, Dr. Timnit found whatever she found doing research, that the algorithms inherently were biased toward Black people. She brought her conclusions to the review board. They said fine. So they took it up further. And then that's when they took it up to Miss Megan right there. They took it up to her and she said no. Basically, she wanted Dr. Timnit to retract her latest research paper. Now, retract in this world means to just squash it. She said, nope, I don't want this to go out. No, this is not going to go out because this is going to hurt Google's reputation. No one needs to know about the internal and the inherent biases in our algorithms. So listen, she said you retract or remove your name from the list of authors. And I want to read something to you. Stick with me, because this is fascinating. Very fascinating. It says Google had expelled a Black woman who was prominent, an advocate for more diversity in tech, and who was seen as an important internal voice for greater restraint in the helter-skelter race to develop and deploy AI. Google did not want the sister there. And on that, and as a result of that, she got the boot. Now, Google is saying that she resigned. But then I was reading something, inside thing, it said, no, Google's policy is if you resign, you have to sign paperwork that says that you technically and legally resigned. And then other workers were saying, my gosh, it takes you a year and a half to get bad people out. You know how you have to do the performance plan and you have to sit down with people 10 times and you can't just fire them. Well, you don't have to do that with AI. But anyway, it took maybe within a month? No, 2 weeks, because she gave her the ultimatum and she said, I want you to come up with a decision, what you're going to do in 2 weeks. And Dr. Timna said, I'm not doing either. So that's what happened with that. Google had now fully decapitated its own ethical AI research group as a result of getting rid of Dr. Timna. Now, let me tell you something else about this. This says AI is largely unregulated and only getting more powerful and ubiquitous, and insiders who are forthright in studying its social harms do so at the risk of exile. Man, this AI stuff is something else. And let me tell you, those 70 people that were laid off, 70,000, yes, 70,000 that were laid off, most of them, of course, were not Black. So, you know, the party goers, what the code, the Black community, we're going to get pneumonia because it's definitely going to trickle down. I don't know how at this moment, but the effects is definitely going to trickle down.
Well, we have a couple of examples, as well as I do have some video as well about the Patterson man. But in talking about AI facial recognition software and the discrimination and inherent bias that's in some of that technology because of the people that are programming it, the end results are what happens in the Black community, like in this story here, where AI misidentified a person who lived as committed in Louisiana to Georgia and picked him up and put him in jail for something that he didn't do.
Right.
And then they had to go sort it out and figure out what happened afterwards.
And do we have that video or no?
Oh, well, I have the one, a similar case and is the one that happened here locally in New Jersey to a Patterson man who was arrested for something that he didn't do in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And I actually do have some video of that. There's actually 3 separate clips. If you want to watch them, you'll see, and it might bring up some questions you could get an opinion about everything.
All right, so yeah, bring it up. That'll be good.
The crimes were serious. Unlawful possession of a weapon, resisting arrest, aggravated assault. After police responded to reports of a theft at a Hampton Inn in Woodbridge, New Jersey, the suspect drove away, hitting a police car, and police claim almost running over an officer. Using cutting-edge facial recognition technology, police quickly arrested Niger Parks, a 31-year-old Patterson resident. The only problem? Niger Parks was innocent.
How many years are you facing? The last time I went to court, they gave me an 8 with an 85 offer, which is like 6 years.
6 years for a crime you didn't commit?
Yes.
At the same time the crimes were being committed at the Hampton Inn in January 2019, Parks was 30 miles away in a Western Union, sending money to his fiancée. But police found what they say was a fake driver's license at the scene, and using the photo on the ID, got a facial recognition match to Niger Parks. With seemingly no other evidence, a judge signed a warrant for Parks' arrest.
The thing that is so notable about this case isn't that the facial recognition got it wrong. It's that we found out.
Parks has now become the face of an issue researchers and privacy advocates have been warning about for years. Facial recognition in the hands of law enforcement.
When we talk about the number of facial recognition scans unfolding in the United States every day, we don't even know the full number. You can have people who are being sent to jail wrongly who never know that facial recognition played a role in their arrest.
A 2019 federal report found widespread evidence of racial bias in nearly 200 facial recognition algorithms that were far more likely to misidentify people of color than they were white people.
What is the effect of the data that you're putting into an AI to train it?
The training data, pretty much the images that you use to teach the model, end up affecting how the model will perceive a new image that it's never seen before.
Raji is a researcher who analyzes racial disparities in facial recognition software.
If you keep showing a model a very specific type of face, it will distinguish different faces using very specific features. So it ends up maybe focusing on attributes of a face that don't really distinguish faces of a different culture or of a different skin type. In the case of some of the products that we tested, which struggled with performing well on darker skin types.
That is very scary. And this is what Dr. Timnit uncovered, but Google wanted to silence her. But it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. But I want to share this headline with you. This is back in, I believe, 2018, and this is from Wired magazine. Canada welcomes AI, but not all AI researchers. You know what the Canadians did? You're supposed to say what, Curtis?
What they do? Yeah, what they do. What did the Canadians do?
They denied the visas of the majority of the people from Africa who wanted to go to the AI conference in Canada.
Why did they do that?
Oh, come on.
I'm just asking. Why?
Because they don't want them to be they don't want us to be at the table at these conferences. There was a AI researchers, I'm reading this, say the visa problems undermine efforts to make their field more inclusive and less likely to produce technology that discriminates or disadvantages people who aren't white or Western. Scores of people due to attend or present work at Black in AI, a workshop that took place Friday, were unable to travel to Canada. Many were coming from African countries.
We have a comment too about the video.
Oh, Anithia Cooper, that's my sister. They say we all look alike. Well, basically, that's a.
All right, now, admittedly, though, all right, admittedly, the dudes don't look exactly alike, but you know, just with the black and white picture and stuff, they do look a little bit similar. Like the chin is totally different. Like one dude has a pointy chin and the other guy has a square chin. Like that, you could see.
I wasn't even looking at the chin. I was looking at the nose.
And the
one guy's nose looks flat.
Right. And but they have a same goatee. They have the same hair. They have two eyes and they have lips.
Right. If you were to do a description of them, like say for instance, missing person, they probably weigh the same, complexion the same, brown hair color, brown. But even in the missing person, it doesn't, even though you see a picture, it doesn't go into distinct features like the nose is flat. You know?
Now, see, but the thing is with that guy, he had to actually go through, he was in jail for 10 days, actually. Well, 10 nights, 11 days and 10 nights. Was in jail for something that he completely did not do. And the only evidence that they had was the AI picture. That's it. They didn't have any other evidence. So with just that, he was able to get locked up.
And this is interesting. This is another article from Wired. I'm just reading the title here. The best algorithms struggle to recognize Black faces equally. U.S. government tests find even top performing facial recognition systems misidentify Blacks at rates 5 to 10 times higher than they do whites.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's from Wired.
Yeah, actually, it does go into that a little bit on the next part of the clip if you want to continue.
All right, so let's see that.
So you're facing years in jail for a crime you know you didn't commit.
Yes.
And you look at the evidence against you. What do you think?
It wasn't any evidence. It was just a picture. A computer said we look alike.
What do you think when you see that picture?
He looks nothing like him. Looks nothing like him. Which goes back to people think, have a saying all Black people look the same. That's the first thing came to my mind. The worst part for me was when we went to court. To see my son shackled and handcuffed in court, fighting for his life. He didn't do it. And it's like nobody believed him.
Park spent 10 nights in jail, and his case wasn't dropped until almost a year later. He's now suing those involved in his arrest.
Facial recognition is one of those products where it is dangerous when it doesn't work, and it is dangerous when it works. It's still weaponized against people of color. It's a technology that is disproportionately used on that group.
In many jurisdictions, facial recognition scans target the databases of past mugshots. This is really crucial because when you're only looking at mugshots from those people who were arrested in the past, you're building facial recognition on infrastructure that comes from decades of biased policing.
Facial recognition is now being used throughout the country. In New York City alone, police say they identified roughly 2,500 possible facial recognition matches in 2019. Advocates say it helps the police solve crimes by quickly generating leads from nothing more than a photograph or a video. But critics say those leads are often used as evidence. And that's exactly what happened to Niger Parks.
How's it feel knowing that a prosecutor and a judge signed off on your arrest warrant based on according to them, just a facial recognition match?
Ridiculous. It's just like, where are you doing your job at? You didn't ask any more questions?
And this happened in the great Garden State of New Jersey.
But at the beginning of that report, they said it's not that this happened, but that we found out about it. So
Right.
This is happening all the time, probably.
Yes.
And this is the one story that we're doing about it.
Yes. And here is the ugly part. There's so many dimensions to the ugliness of AI when it comes to the Black community. That's just one aspect, the criminal justice system. This other aspect, I'm just getting ready to read the title of this story from Wired magazine. Algorithms allegedly penalize Black renters. Now the Department of Justice is watching. So it's going to, there's just so much stuff that's happening when it comes to AI and the Black community. And I don't think the Black community is really in tune to what is happening and what can happen as a consequence and as a result of this if we are not, in a sense, becoming the programmers, if we are not there, engaged in computer science, if we're not at that table, if we're not building the table, if we're not at the table, we're the uninvited times 10. And what can result as, mental illness, poverty, sickness, disease, calamity. And this is the ugly side of AI. And if we don't do something about it right now, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. We have to do something about it right now.
Well, that's why we have Urban Tools for Change Network. We're actually
That's right. That's why we have, and I need you all to share this information. I need you to like, I need you to share, I need you to join, because it's very important. And then some people are like, well, what can we do? Well, you know what? There are a whole lot of students in the urban community that want to go to college to become engineers. But guess what? Because of societal issues, they can't afford it. This is how and what we need to do to step in. Have money for scholarships so that they can become the next programmer. Because guess what? Frogs do not take care of cats. Meaning people and animals take care of their own. A horse is not going to take care of a snake. The party goers are not going to take care of the uninvited. And they're not. So we cannot rely on them with their technology to benefit us. Why? But then they have these programs and with the visas, make it very hard, make it more challenging.
And then they're programming the bias into it because of who they are, though. That's the other problem.
What you
So
say?
even if they're programming the bias into it because of who they are.
Right.
So even if they know that they're discriminating against dark-skinned faces, they're doing it because that's just who they are. So
right.
When they're programming, it comes into the software regardless.
Right.
So that's why you need other people.
Absolutely. So it's just like when I put these glasses on, right? The lens that I'm looking through is not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they think. So the lens that they're looking through is coming from their own perspective. So they're only thinking about their type of people. They're only thinking about their kind of people. They're only thinking about them because that is the lens that they're wearing. They're not waking up saying, oh, let me do this for another group besides me, because they may be so out of touch. Maybe they've never experienced really being around other groups except what they see on the news, except what they hear about. But it doesn't even enter into their mindset for us to be considered. And what's going to happen now is if we do not get ahead of this thing right now, it's going to be awful for us.
You know what? There is on this last part, they do have what the Woodbridge Police Department, what their response was. Are you interested in finding out what?
I want to see what they, yes.
What how they replied to this, or
yes,
what
I definitely want to see
was.
We wanted to ask if the same people who signed off on Niger Park's arrest are still using facial recognition as evidence in criminal cases. We tried to contact Woodbridge Police Director Robert Hubner, Prosecutor Christopher Kubaret, and Judge David Stahl. None of them responded to our requests.
What were those 10 days like for you when he was in jail?
You know, they were pretty bad because I was wondering the whole time, were they going to hurt my son? And then there's nothing we could do about it.
I'm like, yo, I didn't do this. That's not me. He's like, everybody's in here said he's innocent. Like, you got to prove that you're innocent. But I shouldn't have to prove that I'm innocent. You should have to prove that I'm guilty.
When police use this technology and they get it wrong, the worst case scenario isn't a night in jail. The worst case scenario isn't being wrongly convicted. In the aftermath of last year's police killings and so many others before, we know at this moment that when police make mistakes, Black Americans die.
What did they take from you?
Time you can't get back. Then just you took being comfortable away from me. Like, I see police, I'm automatically shaking up a little bit now because you proved to me that you can lock me up for that you can do whatever you want to do to me. And there's nothing I can do about it.
That is something else. So the police, they didn't respond. They ghosted the reporter.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't important enough for them
to respond. Yeah, it's not important.
Because they're still doing it actually too. They would have to explain, well, because the question was, are you still using this technology as evidence against people to like put out warrants and stuff like that? And the answer would have to have been yes, they are still using it. So they didn't want to answer. Of course. So they didn't want to answer the question. You know,
they are still using it, and they're going to continue to use it until I don't know. It's the horses are out the barn.
It's a pretense for them to be able to, arrest people, and then person has to prove that they're innocent instead of them having to prove that the person is guilty.
Right. This is, like I said, this is very scary because now you have, like I just read the article, the title, housing discrimination. So now you have discrimination added discrimination in the criminal justice system. Added discriminatory practices with trying to even be included at conferences so that we can understand the technology, so that, you know, and some of the people that were refused visas were prisoners.
Well, you started off last year talking about like how we have to have laws and stuff in place to make sure certain things happen. So maybe it's through laws that and regulations that this industry and the use of these algorithms is going to be put in check. Maybe something like that, like because the one girl that on that other video with Soledad O'Brien, she was talking about having a moratorium on the usage of this type of technology until it can be regulated properly.
Right. Now, do you have that video or?
No, it was looked too crazy. It looked
Basically in that video, there is a young lady who is a programmer, and she was doing research and working on a project, and it was called Mirror Me or something like that. Whereas you look through a webcam and the face, so you can put in someone's face, like she said, Serena Williams, and you can look in that webcam, and then Serena's face will come on top of your face. So you'll look like Serena Williams when you look in that mirror on that webcam. The only problem was she is the complexion of like Kevin Hart, right? So the webcam didn't pick it up because she was too dark.
Yeah, it didn't pick up her face as being a face.
Right. I guess what, it was a black hole? I mean, I mean, really?
So she went through the research and found out that it's more likely able to pick up lighter skin faces and male faces versus female faces.
Right.
So the least face that it could recognize was a dark-skinned female.
That is correct. And
because
wouldn't you
that's
know,
who the programmers are.
Yet again, here we are at the bottom of the totem pole.
But that's because of the bias of the programmers.
Absolutely. Now, she reached out to IBM. She said IBM contacted her 24 hours later.
Yep.
And then they did their own research. They found similar findings.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, they actually invited her. See, that's what I'm saying. IBM invited her to discuss and to work on something much better.
She got invited to the party.
She got invited to the party. She got invited to the party.
And they changed the arrangements of the party after that.
They sure did.
But then she called Amazon.
Oh, she didn't even hear from them, right?
Nope, they didn't contact her back.
They ghosted her. They were like, what do we get?
They did like Woodbridge Police Department.
Yeah, right? Who is this and why? That's all right. So, yeah. So, you know, just my Urbanites, I just really want you all to brace yourselves in the next months to years, because I really think it's going to be a rocky road. I think crime is going to be elevated. These are the ugly things that's going to happen as a result. Crime in the Black community, mental illness in the Black community. I believe substance use is going to increase.
Possibly.
Well, if these things keep happening, if these things keep happening, it's going to. There's nowhere in history when it comes to our Black community, when unemployment is high, the crime is low.
Right.
There's no data to support that. So when I say this, I'm only going on past data because that's what my hunch is. And my hunch isn't just this feeling from the sky. A hunch is based on previous evidence of trends, of patterns that have taken place, and no intervention has been introduced to change the consequence of that behavior turning back. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, that I believe that those things are going to happen. We're going to see an increase in suicidal ideations. This is the ugly. We're going to see an increase in substance use disorders. This is the ugly. We're going to see an increase in unemployment. We're going to see an increase in sickness. We're going to see an increase in all these things if if we don't get a hold of it. Now, what do you mean if we don't get a hold of it? So, sometimes in life, you have to pivot and change directions, shift gears. I know here in New Jersey, NJIT, they have a cybersecurity certification program. Maybe, some people need to look into cybersecurity because that's going to be huge. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have people that are going to try to hack your AI. You're going to have hackers. And that's why I am dead set against these automatic cars that can drive by themselves. Like I just see a world where somebody's hacking cars.
In order for that to work, there has to be a track where there's only self-driving cars on that track, and there's not regular cars on it. You know what I mean? Like they have to have it's like like a train track or something. It has to be a different. Like they had in that movie. What's that movie? Minority Report with Tom Cruise.
Well, they had both. They had regular cars and the flying ones in the air.
And they had the little self-driving, but it was on a track though. It was like guided by a different thing, not just the car.
Well, no, because they have these self-parking cars. You can put your hand off the steering wheel and the car reverses back, pulls into the parking. I mean, they're driving themselves. They're parking themselves. You can hack that.
Yeah, you don't want that on the street though with regular people.
Well, I mean, it is on the street. People have
they have the Teslas, and sometimes they had a big accident not too long, like maybe a week or so ago in California. It was like a 10-car pileup because a Tesla just stopped because it was self-driving at that point. It just stopped. And
See, I didn't even know that.
But see, you know what? You getting very pessimistic right now. But I have something.
But no, this is the ugly. It's called the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have to give all sides. I gave the good, I gave the bad, and this is the ugly.
Okay. Well, going out there before we leave on a totally bad, ugly note, you know what I'm saying? There was a little bit of positive entertainment news that you could read real quick.
All right, let's see.
Right here.
Let me my glasses.
The Oscars are coming up, and they just had their nominations.
All right, so in light of, I have to be honest, in light of all of this, I really don't care. I don't.
This is just, I know you don't, but this is
I don't
current
care.
events. This is current events.
I don't care, and I even fell asleep at the movie.
But look, she's the first actor to be nominated in a comic book movie. And it happens to be a woman who's a black woman. That's the first person I was ever nominated for.
All right, give us the crumbs, why don't you? Yeah, crumbs.
It's a positive note to go out on.
Give us the crumbs, why don't you?
With all the doom and gloom that you just said.
Give us the crumbs.
You gave us a lot of doom and gloom at the end of this show today, so I was just trying to.
In the bigger scheme and scope of things, that means absolutely nothing. People are getting ready to get laid off. Well, 70,000 already got laid off.
Potentially. That's
no, the 70,000 already got laid off.
Yeah, they're going to find new jobs. They're going to find new jobs.
Doing what?
They're going to find a new job. They're going to have to do. Look, they got to just take a pay cut and do something else.
Like what? They can't even flip a burger because you have Flippy.
They can help a YouTube influencer. There's a lot of new.
That's not going to be a lot of money.
Look, I just saw that fool DJ Academics. Do you know who that is?
Who?
There's an internet reactor dude out here. Some fool called DJ Academics, whatever. He's just an internet reactor. This fool is worth $10 million.
Oh well.
Like these like that Aiden Ross that we talked about. He's worth more than that. Like for doing nothing. They be on here playing games and making money. So they'll be all right. They're gonna figure stuff out.
I hope so. And then next week, who do we have up for our next week's show?
Yes, next week we're talking more about how to have urban for change in the community that actually help things become better. So we're gonna have Mr. Dupree Kelly, New York City Councilman from Westport.
Yeah. And I do have some questions to ask them. How can it be more beautiful? Beautify. How can we beautify? See, them robots could do that. Pick up the garbage.
See, that might be a suggestion, right? What's the robot budget that we have?
Right.
for North? What's the Westward robot budget? But that might be something in the future that they might, automating certain jobs. They're saying also just actually frees people up to actually do other things. So we'll figure out other things to do. People will figure out other things to do and other things to pay people for. Because look, I want to be optimistic a little bit. Let's think about this. Like, it was hard to publish a book back in the day, just for instance. It was hard to, like, do a show. Like this, what we're doing right now was very, very hard back in the day. Right? But now, stuff like this, like Shopify, having your own store online and stuff like that, drop shipping to people and stuff like that. All that stuff was non-existent 10, 15 years ago. But those are all ways people are generating revenue that are completely new these days. So for instance, if everybody had some sort of product, Vinny from Naughty by Nature used to say that. He said, if everybody just had 1,000 true fans, 1,000 people that would give you $100 a year. How much is that? $100,000 a year, right? So if everybody just had 1,000 people that supported them doing their project, then people would be good.
Well, people won't have that because they won't have a job because AI will take over.
They're gonna figure something. People gonna figure something. Look, we ain't out in the fields working, picking cotton and doing, toiling and doing.
No, they got the robots doing that.
Hey, so but people do other stuff. People are insurance agents and stuff now. People are checkout counter people and.
When you say the checkout people, what?
Or they're, announcers on the radio. There are lots of different jobs.
Oh, they're going to have that too. Remember, they're doing that voice recognition.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a job.
See? Go ahead. Go, shoot a job. Go ahead. Go.
Oh, look, home health care aid. You're not going to be able
well,
I don't
maybe,
think
yeah, maybe
I
home
don't think
health aid. Yeah.
You need a person.
Maybe nurses.
Nurses. You need people to have people skills with to diagnose people. And you think they have robot therapists?
I don't know.
You think they have a robot therapist?
They could.
Just like you talk to the computer and it tells you the best course of action for your mental well-being?
Yes, based on you program the type of tool that you want to use. Like, say, for instance, if you want to do cognitive behavioral therapy, you would input, that's the model that you want stored in that technology, or solution focus, or motivational interviewing, or whatever.
No, but there's things that you could perceive as a therapist about a person, like whether they're telling you the truth, or whether they're if they really mean what they're saying, or if they actually just mean the opposite, because you can tell by the way their eyes are looking, the way their body, the way their voice is saying it.
Well, guess what? Well, guess what? We have machines that can tell if people are lying. So there may be a component built into that.
I don't know. You know what? I think you just want to be pessimistic. I tried. I said this is the ugly. This is the ugly. We got to confront it. Now, again, like you said, the ugly may not come, but it's... It's the ugly, dude. It's the ugly. But I have to say, my Urbanites, I thank you all for joining me, Dr. Lisa Lacan, in the Urban Suite. If you didn't see part 1, check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, Urban Twos for Change Network. It's on Facebook, my personal Facebook, and as well as Urban Twos for Change, Dads and Blessed Ministries Incorporated, those Facebook pages. I am also on Spotify, LinkedIn, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon, and something else I can't remember. So I need you all to listen, be plugged in, share, because this information is powerful. So I thank you for coming into the Urban Suite, where you laugh, learn, cry, and grow. We'll be here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with
Councilman Dupree Kelly in the Urban Suite. And on that note, Molly, take us away.